order Brandon School Board regular meeting, December 18th, 2023. Can I get a roll call?
Jane.
Here.
Rebecca.
Here.
Lisa.
Here.
Kim.
Here.
Hillary.
Here.
Yeah. Carly.
Here.
Jane.
Here.
Dwight.
Here. All right, stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First up, we have VHS student report.
Kind of as a reminder from viewers or anybody who's here, my name is Jacqueline Shell. I am the Brandon High School senior class president and student council's president.
I'm Claire Schmaltz, and I'm the vice president of student council. This is our December board meeting. Oh, and our sports currently going on are wrestling, girls basketball, boys basketball, pond, competitive cheer, skiing, and bowling. And here are some of our pictures from some of the groups of activities we had. Thomas had a youth night, which I heard went really well. And the pictures were all really cute. And we have had a couple of duels for wrestling, and we've had our basketball games. And then recently, Riley Abney broke the scoring record for Brandon High School of 1,120. It's really cool. And then what's been recently happening at Brandon High School, we have our Christmas break, which is December 23rd to January 8th. And then we have our band and choir Christmas concert, which is December 19th. And then we have a half day on the 22nd. And then Riley broke the basketball shooting record.
And just to kind of describe these pictures, the one on the right is a picture in Miss Stein's classroom. We're all enjoying hand turkeys on her board of Thanksgiving break. And then on the bottom left is a picture of our art gallery that I believe is coming up. We're going to do an art show. Those are just a preview of all the pictures that are going to be in the art show, and we even put some lights around the picture. And then what is happening in student council, first just kind of go to the pictures in the top left corner is a picture of me and Claire doing some service hours downtown for the Christmas parade. We were elves, they were Santa's elves. And then the first picture on the bottom is a picture of us assembling the bags that we handed out during our mental health week. And then the very last picture is a picture of a couple of our boys in student council making signs for the mental health awareness week. And to go off of that, our mental health awareness week happened last week. And on Monday, we had an assembly. We had 42 Strong come in and talk to us. We also had a yoga instructor come in and teach us some breathing exercises, which were cool. And the whole assembly was just kind of about awareness. We had counselors talk about being when it's needed. We had a couple of our favorite teachers speak about mental health and kindness and how that can go along with our students. We think it was very successful assembly. It went very well. And everyone seemed like it's very exciting. Next year when we do that again. And then Tuesday, we handed out cookies to everybody, which was nice. That. And then Wednesday,
What did we do? We did.
I don't remember what we did Wednesday, I'm sorry. But Thursday, Wednesdays on typically we have hawk time that happens, but we moved our hawk time to Thursday. And what we did is we did another block schedule. Not a block schedule, but it was kind of a pep assembly schedule. So for the last hour of the day, we had each classroom with something different. We had one classroom where you could make snowflakes. We had a classroom where you could watch movies. We had a classroom read, there was, in the gym, there was dodgeball and basketball. There was service dogs there. Our yoga instructor also came back to do some yoga. So each classroom just had a different activity where students could go wherever they felt that they needed to go or wanted to go. If they wanted just a quiet room to work their homework, read, if they wanted to let out some energy, do basketball or volleyball, they could go to the gym. And so that was our hot time Thursday. And then Friday, we had a guest speaker come in. His name is Mr. Peace, and he talked to us about kindness. So we really liked our mental health week. We're excited to see how the impact goes throughout the school year, and we're excited to do it again next year. The next thing we're doing is snow coming prep. We're trying to figure out what theme we want to do for snow coming. We actually went over that today in class during our meeting. We sent out a Google form asking students what they wanted to see for the themes. We went over those results to see what the majority of student body wanted, and now we're working on picking up that theme. And we're also switching over to our snow coming assembly committee cycle, which will consist of the dance, powder puff, the pep committee, and the spirit committee, which will also be sweet week committee that we do every year. So we're just kind of transitioning over to those right now, getting ready for snow. And then we also have our holiday spirit week going on right now. Today was holiday headwear. Tomorrow is family picture day. You just get with a group of people and all match like you're taking a holiday family picture. And Wednesday is tacky sweater day. There's actually going to be a competition during our hot time for who has the best tacky sweater. And then Thursday is Candy King Day, which is just wear red and white. And then Friday will be Polar Express Day, which is pajamas. Be a good way to end the week before going into holiday break. And then student council is also getting ready for our MASC, MHSA regionals and states. Regionals will happen January 11th, and states will happen February 24th and 26th, which we're all really looking forward to. And at regionals, we have 2 different committees within our council presenting at those at regionals. So we're excited to see how that goes, and hopefully if they do well, we can run the states. And then we are wrapping up our sock drive that's going on. I'm sure you've seen the boxes in the high school and the elementary schools, even at a couple businesses around town. We've brought in a lot of socks. So we're really excited to give those out to the lunch. And that is all we have going on right now. Any comments or questions?
That was great. Sounds like a fun week.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, next up is Carly Stone with the superintendent's report.
All right, good evening, everybody. Thank you, ladies. That was lovely. I would like to ask Mrs. Sewell if you would mind coming up and sharing with the board information relative to that student council state conference that we might have just heard about.
They are my speakers. They speak for me most of the time.
Thank you.
And in class, which is really good for me. So we would like to travel February 24th to 26th to Grand Rapids, stay at the Amway. It is a huge conference with a bunch of schools from across the state. A lot of schools present. We get to hear about different charity work that other schools are doing, like mental health weeks, and what they do, what's successful, fundraising, and all kinds of different things. Everything you can think of that student councils would normally handle, that's what they'll get to see what other schools are doing.
Leadership within schools and how you bring leadership and participation between schools as well in the student body. Exactly. That's a big one.
It is all student led. So the whole event is put on by Waterford Mott this year. So all the students have a say in what happens there. So it's kind of solo. Any student who wanted to participate in the States gets to go. There is a fee, which we've been doing some fundraising to try and lower that fee as much as we can.
And those pizza kits have to be working on videos.
That's it. Yeah. We're hoping that our students that are presenting on January 11th will make it to states. We haven't had a group make it to the states so far, but we're hoping this is lucky year number 4 for us, that we will be able to have someone move forward. It's a lot of fun. There is a student celebration on Sunday where 2,500 students from across the state get together and they have what I consider to be a ginormous homecoming dance. With lots of fun activities too. But I will be chaperoning the event as well as a male chaperone from the school. And we'll be traveling by bus to school.
It's a really great weekend in my opinion. It's the most fun I have every single school year. We're really excited.
It's a lot of fun, and it brings like the council really close together. It's a really great experience to meet other like people who have the same interests and hear their point of view on like what they do.
And you make lifelong friends at these events. Like I have friends that I'm texting with that I'm, oh my God, I'm excited to see you. To see you there. It's a lot of fun. It's my favorite.
Well, they meet a lot of these students at camp in the summertime. They do the MASC camps at Albion in the summer. Then they run into each other at regionals.
Oh, it's so much fun to see.
It's awesome.
Any questions about the event itself?
I'm curious, what are you presenting? Just
One of our committees is presenting on our angel closet that we started last year. It's actually right down the hall. It's just filled with clothing that is all donated. And hopefully we're gonna bring school supplies in next year for the students that need it. It's just any student that needs to can go to the counseling office and say, hey, I'm looking for a dress for snow coming. Can I look to the angel closet? And they can go in, take whatever they want, try on whatever they want. That's all we watch them all. Put it in their suits. So they're gonna be presenting on the angel closet that we started last year and it's now open and running. And then we also have another committee, our SCI committee, that put on Mental Health Awareness Week. They're gonna be presenting on what they did for Mental Health Awareness Week, what went into planning, the context they had to get, and how the entire week ran, the results and tips and whatnot for the thing they're doing next year. And those two committees are presenting. And hopefully at least one of them make states. We haven't made it to states in a couple years, but we did have Kirby Martin a couple years. He did a Michigan Student Voice, which was just a speech you do about leadership and your experiences and whatnot. He presented at regionals, made it to states, and actually won the Michigan Student Voice for the entire state conference. Really cool. We've not placed him before, we're hoping to go again.
Thank you, that's great.
Great information.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I'd like to pass the baton to Mrs. Maria, please. If you don't mind sharing with the board information relative to the Chicago Spanish class trip for November 2024.
Very good talk. So thanks for having me. I'm Lauren Moreno. I'm a Spanish teacher at the high school, and this is the fourth time I've come to you to ask for permission to take some students to Chicago. So the next year's trip is planned for November 7th and 8th, and it's a 2-day trip, so it'll be one night. And I try to alternate their itinerary a little bit every year because we have some students that are in our program through Spanish 4 to 5, so they'll go multiple times. So next year's trip, we're gonna focus on Cafe Baba-Arriba, which is a Spanish restaurant, and they do a paella cooking demonstration and an authentic flamenco show with student participation. I think you've probably seen it in my emails I send after each trip, so that's really fun. Hard Rock Cafe, the Field Museum, Shedd Aquarium, a Broadway show, and I really truly want to say I appreciate so much the support I've had with this trip with the board and the administration here. When we started this, I had no idea the impact it would have on kids and families. I've had families express to me that this is like a once in a lifetime for their student. I have students that look forward to this all year. And I know not every district supports something like this, and it means a lot to me and to the teachers that go into the students that you've all been so incredibly supportive. So I did want to thank you for that. It has been a lot for a lot of people. Did you have any questions about the itinerary or the travel plans or anything like that? Yeah.
I don't recall, I know that that's true, but there's fundraising opportunities and or if a child wishes to go, are there sponsorship opportunities?
We don't do formal fundraising. There are through World Strides, they have individual fundraisers the students can do. And I know the district has helped with scholarships in the past.
Okay.
For students. And the reason I bring it so early is so that the payments can be spread over a period of time. That's helped, but we have helped individual students.
I know, it's okay,
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Lori. I'd like to ask Jan if she could please introduce our new third service director. Okay, Ashley, can you?
Thank Ashley first day. Yes, you have to come to the meeting to meet everybody. She's our new director of food service, replacing Monica. Sadly, who's leaving us at the end of the week. So she's working with Monica this week, which is really good. Some training, and Ashley has spent her entire career. She actually has a degree in food service administration in Central and has worked in the industry for several years. So I'll let Ashley maybe say a couple things.
Hello. Yeah, so like she said, I graduated from Central with a degree in food service administration and entrepreneurship. So my entire career has been in food service. I started off in restaurants, and for the last 6 years, I've worked at Ascension Genesis Hospital as the assistant director of food and nutrition there. So I'm really excited to be here.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ashley.
Thank you, Ashley. Now I'd like to ask State Fitness Bill to come up and share information relative to her presentation this evening about our preschool early childhood center. Thank you.
I'll get Maria,
A couple minutes here.
Hope everyone doing tonight. We all enjoy our drive-in. I'm glad we all made it safely. It was kind of chaotic looking out there. So. So tonight I'm just going to kind of give you a brief overview of what it means for continuity of care and inclusive practices in early childhood. This is something that we've really been focusing on in the last year of my service within this district. A smooth transition between service providers in early childhood really helps to cement the family's feeling of engagement within their district and the likelihood that they will stay within that district when they have the opportunity to move up into kindergarten. So we want to keep that good continuity of care moving forward. So hold on, just having a technical problem.
Is it not? Is it, did they turn it off?
It's on, the light's on, I just. All right, how about I just say next? And just press the arrow over to go to the next one.
Well, it's delayed for me also here.
Oh, no. We're just gonna go after that. So there's gonna be no question. All right,
Let's try
so
that.
this is rooted in our district's core values, and this year we really focused on what's important to us as a school district, and one of our core values was that we do what's best for all children. And you notice that that word all is capitalized, because when we say all, we really do mean all children, regardless of their ability. We want to make sure that they have all of the opportunities that their peers would have, regardless of disability or any other needs that they might have. So recently in November, at the end of November, there was a new statement issued from the Department of Education. I'm not going to ask you to read all of this, but it's focused on the inclusion of children with disabilities in early childhood. And the focus was to provide high quality, inclusive early childhood practices. And what that means is that these children would be able to participate alongside their peers, meet high expectations, and achieve their full potential. Now in Brandon, we have a really unique practice already happening that meets this need and this requirement. In other areas, you might enter early childhood classrooms and see early childhood that's self-contained, whereas we provide inclusive practices right from the get-go with a continuity of care for service providers from our early on program through the preschool years and then through the transition into kindergarten. So what's new within this policy statement is that it's going to reinforce legal foundations supporting inclusion. Like I said, this is something that we're already practicing here in Brandon, and it sets a high expectation for inclusion, that it would continue through the transition into elementary school, There's updated models for inclusion within this policy statement. And it also is identifying and sharing resources, not just for providers, but also for parents who need to be familiar with these sort of policies. So starting at birth, we have the early on intervention team. And here in Brandon, we have Joanne, Christy, Ari, and Rachel. These are the core four, as I like to call them. They're the intrinsic players in the early on team. So early on provides early intervention for children from birth through age 3. And then we have the transition into preschool or receiving all the services based on their evaluations. You can see that all of these people do a number of different roles, from being early childhood special ed teachers through coordinating play group, which is our parent-child play group that meets once a week and is free for any community members who attend from birth to age 5. The objective of early on is to focus on identifying needs early for children and giving them intervention opportunities. So that means that as infants and toddlers, if we are identifying those disabilities early, they may be things that are developmental that the child might outgrow, but they might require additional intervention like speech, occupational therapy, physical therapy, and those are all things that we provide with our early on team, and focuses on all of that big significant brain development that happens within those first formative years. So once the child graduates from early on, that would mean that they've had an evaluation and they are either moving from a education plan that's focused for infants to an IEP that would be focused for the elementary school or preschool setting. Once they've moved into that stage, they have a number of different things that occur. They have the option to enroll in preschool based on the team's evaluation of what's appropriate for them and what's going to meet the least restrictive environment. Or the family is given the choice to continue attending play groups, to continue doing walk-in services until they would like to enroll in preschool. They get a number of different options. But again, that core 4 early on team remains the same once they enter preschool. So they get the same speech services with the same speech provider throughout. So we talked a little bit in the beginning about what early childhood inclusion looks like. And the root of it really is that it's intentionally promoting children's participation in all aspects of learning and social activities, things that in entering programs that they would normally enter if they didn't have a disability, right? They would be entering into preschool programs along with their typically developing peers, and we would be providing the same level of high quality learning and social activities to really promote their success as they go through school. One other thing that I didn't mention in that transition from preschool to elementary school stage is the different practices that we are instituting. So we have our MTSS coordinators in the preschool setting now, and they're help facilitating communication between the early childhood department and the elementary schools. And then we also have our transition days where our preschool students have the opportunity to actually go to those elementary schools, see the school, participate in different aspects of what they would be doing in kindergarten. And like I said, this is a fully inclusive opportunity. So all of our students are going to go to their school that they would be enrolling in and get real hands-on interaction. We've also discussed a week 1 visit for our students who have significant needs. They would be visited by their preschool teacher or part of the early childhood special ed team in their new classrooms when they transition from from preschool to junior or kindergarten. So that kind of gives an even farther extended continuation of care for those kiddos who might have extenuating needs. And then this one just kind of talks about the continuity of care. I got ahead of myself. All right, and then transition to elementary school. I touched on a few of these things. Again, I got ahead of myself, but this is really just ensuring that the special ed and related services are not interrupted during that transition period. We want to make sure that children's care plans continue from the time they leave us to the time they enter into elementary school and have the best possibility of success. So in summary, we talked about inclusive practices that are already embedded here, very similar to our K through 12 settings. The continuity of care, providing the best outcomes for children, and then our commitment to providing smooth and successful transitions. Were there any questions? I know I threw a ton of information at you, but I'm really proud of the work that our team is doing. We've made great strides in the last year, and I think we'll just continue working toward even better practices as we move forward and kind of get the ball rolling in the right direction. Thank you, everybody.
This is great. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next is public comment and questions on agenda business. All right, I'm going to move on to our business approval of the consent agenda. We got a motion.
The Brandon Board of Education approves the consent agenda as presented.
Support. Any discussion? Can I get a roll call? Vote.
Jane,
Yes.
Lisa,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Hillary,
Yes.
yes, Rebecca,
Yes.
Information discussion items, board report. Oh, we did attend the Oakland County School Board Association dinner. For Stone and Jane and myself, and it was a really good informational meeting. It's nice to go there and meet with other districts, and I think we're planning on going back for the next one where we have Brad Vanasek, MASB legal, that's going to be discussing all the new laws coming into place next year. So we're good there. That's Jan, your finance report.
Oh, yeah. We have an action item tonight to approve a food service project, and we haven't really talked about it prior, so I thought I want to mention exactly what the project is. So I invited Monica to be here. Monica has been wanting to do this at Harvey Swanson for about a year. We had Brian involved at one point, but we don't need an architect, which is good news. And the really good news is this is approved to be paid for out of our food service fund. We do have an excess fund balance, so we actually have to spend some money, and this is a really good project to do that. So we have a vendor, Mark. He's met with the vendor several times to make sure I's are dotted, T's are crossed. We got Mark's blessing to proceed. So our next step is to get board approval. And so I thought if you had questions on the project, I would be good.
This is the freezer project.
Yeah, okay. And Monica, it's for more storage for the refrigerator and the, it does involve, it's more than just buying a freezer and refrigerator. Briefly explain it.
Mark.
So it's gonna be it's gonna be a split unit. So you're gonna have a freezer where our dry storage is now. And then on the other side where they kind of have an office area within the kitchen itself will be the refrigerator part. We did that because there's so much electrical, there's fire pole stations, there's heating that would all have to be rearranged in order to put a split unit like we have at our concession stand at ball field. So in doing this, we've also, like Jan said, we don't have to go through the architect because our weight limit does exceed what our roof capability is. They're very small units. The total refrigeration unit is about that wide. Other than what it had specifically with the vendor, they looked for a contractor to do the electrical and because there's outlets in the area that would be affected by the refrigerator itself. So those all have to be decommissioned. I've already got pricing on there, to do all of the work is $5,200. Which is part of Monica's thing.
Questions?
Does,
Nope. I'm sure it was not impertinent, sounds fantastic.
It's about a 12-week, once we order it, it's about a 12-week before we even see anything happen. So that being said, we can get a lot of the electrical stuff done prior to that. So when they're ready, we can basically hook up and charge it up and go. What it's going to eliminate, Monica can tell you, right now we're running off of portable freezers and refrigerators that are on wheels. So we can consolidate everything into those units and free up more space in the kitchen. The kitchen over there is a little bit small.
and you just answered the question was, see? Thing. My question was understanding better the premise, the need for it and ensuring it so that is intended to replace all sorts of mobile units now.
Yeah, right now Monica has just about every nook and cranny over there full of either refrigerators and or freezers, to the point that most of her milk coolers are out in the cafeteria.
Okay, so this will be sufficient,
Yes.
Monica, to,
Yeah, Harvey Swenson is the busiest kitchen. It does the most production.
yeah,
So we need space desperately over there. So we're gonna take those freezers and refrigerators out of the hallways in the kitchen, if you will. And we're gonna replace those with dry storage. So we'll have a lot more space. It's just, it's gonna be really great. Yeah, it's definitely a needed project. And like Jan said, fortunately enough, we can use our own funds for that because they're approved items to use with my budget. And then we can use those existing refrigerators and freezers in other buildings. So.
Thank you. All right, action items. Approval of VHS Spanish class overnight trip to Chicago.
Move the Brandon Board of Education to approve the high school Spanish class overnight trip to Chicago, November 7th through 8th, 2024 as presented.
Support. Any discussion? Can I get a roll call vote?
Jane,
yes,
Lisa,
yes,
Kim,
Yes.
Hillary,
Yes.
Rebecca,
Yes. Approval of the VHS Student Council overnight trip to MASC/MAHS State Conference.
Move the Brandon Board of Education approve the high school student council overnight trip to the MASC MAHS State Conference, February 25 to the 27th, 2024 as presented.
Support.
Any discussion? Can I get a roll call vote?
Jane,
yes,
Lisa,
yes,
Kim,
Yes.
Hillary,
Yes.
Rebecca,
Yes. Approval of policy update 5206, student discipline.
Move the Brandon Board of Education approve policy update 5206 student discipline as presented.
Support. Any discussion? Can I get a roll call vote?
Jane,
yes,
Lisa,
yes,
Kim,
Yes.
Hillary,
Yes.
yes, Rebecca,
Yes. Approval of policy update 5206A, student discipline due process.
Move the Brandon Board of Education approve policy update 5206A student discipline due process as presented.
Support. Any discussion? Can I get a roll call vote?
Jane,
yes,
Lisa,
yes,
Kim,
Yes.
Hillary,
Yes.
Jeff, yes, Rebecca,
Yes. Approval of non-collective bargaining agreement.
Move the Brandon Board of Education approve the non-collective bargaining agreements as presented.
Support. Sorry. Any discussion? Can I get a roll call vote?
Jane,
yes,
Lisa,
yes,
Kim,
Yes.
Hillary,
Yes.
Jeff, yes, Rebecca,
Yes. Approval of human resource report.
Move the Brandon Board of Education approve the human resource report as presented.
Support. Any discussion? Can I get a roll call vote?
Jane,
Yes.
Lisa,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Hillary,
Yes.
Jeff, yes, Rebecca,
Yes. Approval to purchase a refrigerator freezer for Harvey Swanson.
Move the Brandon Board of Education approve to purchase a refrigerator freezer for Harvey Swanson in the amount not to exceed $111,000 as presented.
Support.
Any discussion? Can I get a roll call vote?
Jane,
Yes.
Lisa,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Hillary,
Yes.
Jeff, yes, Rebecca,
Yes. Approval of moving vendor services for BMS.
Move the Brandon Board of Education approve Palmer Moving Services Plan for BMS moving and storage services in summer 2024 in the amount not to exceed $108,670 as presented.
Support.
Any discussion? Can I get a roll call vote?
Jane,
Yes.
Lisa,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Hillary,
Yes.
Jeff, yes, Rebecca,
Yes. All right. Citizen input for the meeting.
Okay, there. No comments?
All right. We are adjourned at 7:07.